But meanwhile, victory in Iraq, the military there claiming victory after government troops said they had managed to recapture the city of Ramadi from the militants of the Islamic State. At one point, government forces raising the flag of the Iraqi flag, as you can see there, at that government complex that was the center of the battle, where the radical Islamic terrorists of ISIS were holding out and fighting back. But some strategists today say it may be too early to celebrate this victory. Here is Colonel Oliver North.
Ramadi is the capital of Anbar province. It is the heart of the Sunni territory in all of Iraq, and it's now been wired, as John Huddy just pointed out, with thousands of these improvised explosive devices. Tikrit, Beji, Ramadi, all massive civilian casualties and near total destruction of the infrastructure. Hard to call that a great victory.
Well, is it a great victory or just symbolic? General Jack Keane joins us at Fox News military analyst, retired four-star general, and chairman of the Institute for the Study of War. General, is this a great victory? I mean, it certainly is something. Or is it really just more symbolic that they were able to retake this town as the ISIS militants fled?
Well, no, it's considerably more than symbolic, to be sure. But the fact is that about 30% of Ramadi is still in ISIS hands. The fact that they put a flag on a government building doesn't mean they control Ramadi. And I can understand why some of the military commanders on the scene, Iraqis, after a 6-month slugfest, want to celebrate a little bit. But there's a lot going on here, and so our audience can understand, even when we have taken other areas like the Baji refinery or Singar or Tikrit, the real issue is that even around those towns, there's significant ISIS activities, and that is a major factor. So it's not like World War II where you take a town and then go north and move on to the next one as you get closer and closer to the heart of Germany. What ISIS does, it holds territory, and then when it gives up territory, it comes back and conducts insurgency and terrorist activities against you. And why that really matters is because what happens then, that it takes X amount of force to seize a town or a city, and the force to hold it is considerably larger, and you're constantly tying down more and more forces to hold on to reclaim territory. And that becomes the Achilles heel here in Iraq.
Well, do you think that they can hold it? I mean, General Lloyd Austin is the chairman of CENTCOM. He says that the enemy is receding and we're gaining. I mean, the president says we've regained 40% of the Iraqi territory. Do you think that will hold?
Well, that's very deceptive. They're not being intentionally deceptive, but those facts are deceptive in terms of the reality that I'm trying to describe. The Achilles heel is you can take the town of Ramadi with commandos, with some Iraqi brigades that we train, but they're going to be needed other places. They'll have to leave. What needs to hold it are Sunni tribes, and it'll take Sunni tribes to hold this Sunni territory that ISIS has in Iraq and in Syria. And in Iraq, it's largely more a political issue than it is a military one. The president has always maintained there are no military solutions, only political ones. Well, here is the political solution. Abadi has to politically enfranchise the Sunnis in Anbar province and to the north of it on the way to Mosul. And if he doesn't get the Sunnis back in, reconciled, like we did during the surge in 2007 so successfully, there is actually no hope of reclaiming all of this territory, because it'll take the Sunni tribes to do that. And right now, Abadi is not doing that, Eric, in any consequential way, because the Iranians don't want him to do that. And it's a huge diplomatic failure on the part of the United States not to be decisively and consequentially engaged here in moving the Abadi government towards that political end. We have spent the last 3 years totally focused on the nuclear deal with Iran, and 2 of those years at the expense of what we should be doing in Iraq here. Secretary Kerry should have been in and out of Baghdad on a regular basis, moving this political situation.
And General, not just Baghdad, talk about the Sunni tribes. Look at the Arab allies, the Sunni Arab allies. They got more than 1 million troops there. You know, Egypt, 468,000. Saudi Arabia, 233,000. Is there any possibility that with this new coalition in Saudi Arabia that they can put boots on the ground to wipe out ISIS once and for all?
Yes and no. The no is in a Shia-dominated government that Iraq represents. While they want Iraq to be stable It represents an educated class of people with oil wealth, certainly, and they want that country stable. They will not put Sunni Arabs on the ground to support that Shia-dominated government, regardless of the consequences. In Syria, however, the answer is a profound yes. They would definitely do that, but what they have said to our government from the beginning is we will not put our troops on the ground until we change the regime in Syria. And that is what they are holding to, and the United States government has refused to do things that would help move that along, like safe zones that we've discussed, like no-fly zones that many people on Fox have talked about. The administration has pushed back on all of that. So there is no solution in Syria. Eventually, yes, it will be Sunni Arabs, likely with some U.S. forces on the ground in Syria to push ISIS out.
Meanwhile, a victory in Ramadi, but next comes Mosul next year, and that'll be a lot tougher. General Jack Keane, always good to see you. Thank you for your analysis, as always.